Every guy who's trying to lose fat always runs into this one problem. It's not the chest, it's not the arms, it's that lower belly fat, that stubborn fat that you can grab, that pouch, that it always just sits there. No matter what you do, you are training hard, you are eating clean, you're doing the cardio, it just refuses to go away. Honestly, I understand your frustration. And there's a part no one tells you about. It's actually not your diet. And if you don't understand a few points I'm going to be covering in this video, you're going to be doing more work and seeing less results, and you're going to keep on being frustrated. I can promise you in this video that I will break down why your lower belly fat is the last to go away. I can also tell you exactly what is sabotaging you from losing that lower belly fat. And if you stick around, I'm going to be explaining the final shift to actually lose that belly fat. You already know what time we're on, so no time wasted. Let's run it. Let's go. Let's go. You already know. Sub to the channel. Game is about to be dropped. All right, so now the first point is actually going to surprise you. Your body's actually trying to protect you. I know. The weird thing is your body does not understand aesthetics. What it does understand is survival. That is the reason why you see that lower belly fat is like, hell no, we're not going to release it. Your lower belly fat primarily is, from an evolutionary standpoint, it's an energy reserve. So your lower belly fat would also be doing a role in your hormone regulation. And finally, it's a backup fuel. Imagine back in the day, while our ancestors were going to hunt for food, when they typically don't have food, that lower belly fat is going to be doing the energy reserve, the hormone regulation, and going to act as a backup fuel. An analogy that drives this very, very straight home, because you know I like my analogies. Your body literally has a do not disturb or do not touch on that lower belly fat. So it's like, I can let you lose fat in every other place, but you see that lower belly, we're not going to let you lose fat there. This is one of the reasons why that lower belly fat is one of the last places to actually go away. Now, the next point is actually going to shock you, because it's the reason why your fat loss feels unfair. This is one of the reasons why fat loss feels unfair. Lower belly fat is hormonally different. I know. The stubborn lower belly fat is actually not normal fat. And this is actually where things get a little bit interesting. I'm going to geek out a little bit, but I promise you, I'm actually going to explain. Now, the lower belly fat has two types of receptors. It has an alpha receptor, and it also has a beta receptor. Stick with me, relax. I promise you, you're not going to get lost. Now, the reason why it has more alpha receptors is going to store more fats, and beta receptors burn fats. In simple English, because I probably have geeked out a little bit. In simple English, the lower belly fat that you probably have has a mechanism to literally store fat more than it actually would burn the fats. So I'm going to drive the point home, obviously, with my analogies. Let's run it. Okay, now imagine that we have two doors. The first door is so easy for you to open. The moment you just open the door, it's very, very easy for you to just come inside. It's just like the door to your apartment. Let's say there is another door. The other door is a door to your attic or your basement. And that's the door that every single time is rusty, it's locked, it's so hard for you to actually just open it. The first door literally represents the fat in your upper body, like in the fat in your arms. That one is so easy to burn. You see the one that is in the second door, that is the door in the basement. That literally is the one at this lower belly portion, which is the fat that is so hard to let go of, because the body is literally built to hold it there. It's like, no, I will not let go of this fat. And that's one of the reasons why it is it feels unfair whenever you're trying to lose weight. All right. Now, the third issue is a blood flow problem. And honestly, I feel like when I say blood flow problem, your mind might be going to somewhere else. However, I'm talking about blood flow here, not below the waist. Lower blood flow would lead to lesser fat loss. So literally, I would say it's equal. So when there is less blood flow, it will lead to less fat loss. However, when you have increased blood flow, you're going to also have and increase fat loss. What do you think the lower belly has? The lower belly, unfortunately, has a lower blood flow. It is literally towards this portion. That also means that there will be a lesser fat loss, unfortunately. Now, what does this mean for your body? This simply means that less fat will actually be mobilized. So less fat will actually be taken from that area to actually be burned. Hormones are a little bit different, and even the blood flow to that portion is also different. And that's the reason why you see slower results and experience increased frustration. Understandably, if you still not gotten every single thing I've said, maybe it sounds like gibberish or I'm talking nonsense. I'm going to be explaining with my analogies. Now imagine you were born in wood in a place that has no oxygen. It's more so like, let's say you're burning wood in your apartment versus when you actually go outside and it's actually very windy. There's going to be a difference. And that's the exact same way with your body. Because you actually have less blood flow to your lower belly fat, is also the reason why it's quite harder for you to lose fat under this area. Unfortunately, life stress is actually keeping the belly fat there. Now, secretly, stress actually increases belly fat storage. This one actually does. So when you're stressed, what happens is you're going to have increase in cortisol. Cortisol increases. What happens also is your body holds on to fat like this. It's like, no, I will not let this fat go. So if you're right now on your fat loss journey, you are experiencing things like you are sleeping less, you're overtraining, and cognitively you are more stressed. You see these things, they are sabotaging your recovery. And if you understand anything, your recovery is very, very important. In as much as you are putting in the work inside of the gym, you need to make sure your recovery is dialed in. If you have the less stress, even the less sleep, typically what would happen is that your hormones will also be disturbed, increasing cortisol. The overtraining is also going to increase cortisol, and even the mental stress is also going to increase cortisol. When you have all these factors, you low-key are sabotaging yourself because you're literally telling your body, hey body, hold on to the lower belly fat, hold on to the lower belly fats. And that's one of the reasons why the lower belly fat is also typically very last to go. This is one of the reasons why I would also recommend that you don't go start overtraining. I literally even preach on this channel that less is actually even more. So you don't go overtraining, you don't go stressing out yourself even more, because it's not going to help you. You're going to be sabotaging your weight loss journey. As I said, I was going to expose the points that are sabotaging you. You're genuinely quitting too early, I'm not going to lie to you. The points before this has explained physiologically why your body tends to hold on to the fat at your lower belly. However, typically the situation is that guys will lose some weight, they look better. However, to get to that lower portion, they quit. I explained every single point prior to this so you can have a very firm understanding of why the lower belly fat is actually quite hard for you to lose. However, I don't want you using it as cope, because I believe that you can control as much as you possibly can. So if you're in a situation where you've actually been losing a lot of weight, it means that you've proven enough to yourself that you can actually do this. Most likely the goal is for you to maybe get lean. I do not know your personal reason why you're trying to lose weight. However, if you're trying to get the abs, I'm going to tell you that you should finish it. The analogy that really drives this home is, let's say you're cleaning a room or you're cleaning your apartment, like a Sunday reset. When you clean almost every single thing, you see that, oh, everything most likely is in order. But typically, towards the end, you kind of get a little bit tired. That last 10% typically is the hardest to do. It's quite tough. That really is what I would tell you that's going to separate. So don't even think of quitting right now that you've actually gotten enough momentum, because I believe that momentum is even more powerful than motivation and discipline, because it's a combination of both. So I'm going to tell you that you should actually not even think of quitting too early. Now, I'm going to be talking on the next point, the final shift that actually is going to make you lose that belly fat. And I think I've already given a little bit of a hint with this point. As promised, the one simple shift that changes everything, especially when it comes to that lower belly fat. More cardio, more restrictions, and you need to go even harder. I know it's quite tough to hear. Now I'm playing. What you actually need is, you don't need more cardio, you don't need this. You don't need this as well. Genuinely speaking, what you do need is you need to stay consistent longer. At the point where the fat loss is actually going to happen, you getting to that body that you actually want is actually going to happen. You just need to stay consistent longer. You need to keep on doing every single thing. Have your training dialed in, have your diet dialed in, have some few lifestyle modifications. You're genuinely at that point. I'm not gonna tell you, oh, go do more cardio or suffer yourself in the gym or perish yourself by restricting more of your calories. I'm gonna just tell you that you need to still stay consistent and still quite adjust along the way. It's really a journey, unfortunately. I do understand that fat loss is, especially when you have that goal in mind, like that very visible, clear goal in mind. I do understand that. However, I'm just gonna tell you, like, from this video, keep going. The thing is, you're not broken. Your diet most likely is not wrong. Your training most likely is okay enough, and you're making a consistent progress. You just have to just finish it through, see it through. You're very much at the finish line. And I'm gonna tell you, you're going to cross that race. I'm telling you, I really am telling you. Just a quick recap, just so you can actually re-understand every single thing I've been talking about in this video. Your body does not understand aesthetics. Unfortunately, it does not know that we're trying to actually look good. All it understands is survival. It understands that that lower belly fat is an energy reserve. It is what it's going to use for your hormones and as fuel when times are hard and difficult. It does not know that times are not hard or difficult either. Now, another thing also is the belly fat is not normal fat. Hormonally, it is different, unfortunately. So it has receptors that actually makes it hold on to fats rather than actually burning fats for evolutionary reasons as well. That's the reason why your body is still trying to hold the belly fats regardless of every single thing you're trying to do. The blood flow issue. So within this region, there is slightly lesser blood flow. The reason why that affects your fat loss is because there will be less or decreased mobilization of fats to that place. When I say decreased mobilization, I simply mean that your body will be taking slightly less fat from your lower belly. That's the reason why the blood flow issue is a thing. And I still believe that still has a little bit of biology to do with. Parts that are actually sabotaging you. We covered these points are points that makes it actually quite hard for the belly fat to go. Now, these are the points that are actually sabotaging you. The first thing is the stress. You're letting your stress be way too high. You are not sleeping properly. And I understand that life can get hectic. However, just try and still dial in that 7. Let's say it's very, very hard for you to even get the 7. I'm going to tell you at least 6. 6 and above. 6 and above every single night. Because the stress will increase your cortisol and even overtraining. The overtraining part is also another thing as well. The reason why stress is important in your fat loss journey is because it produces more cortisol. And when you have more cortisol, you're going to be finding it harder to actually lose fat. Now, another problem that I know you guys are also doing is that you're about to sabotage yourself real is you are quitting too early. You are genuinely at the finish line. And honestly, I do understand that this is the point where most people don't cheer up for you enough. But I'm cheering up for you. I'm telling you that you're almost at the finish line. And if you want a system without guessing, something that's going to take out frustration and a plan to fit your lifestyle, regardless of whatever life throws at you, I'm going to tell you, book a call with the link, and I'll personally love to hear from you and actually help you dial down and get that belly fat gone. And with that said, that's really the end of the video, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hoping that you actually are staying locked in, putting God first, putting your purpose first, and I'm very, very grateful with the support on the channel. Let me know what other topics you'd like me to cover on this channel. And with that said, stay blessed, stay locked in. Peace, ladies and gentlemen.